What's going on, guys? Today we have this huge binder full of pre-release and staff cards to look at. Alright, so a little more backstory. I bought these off of a collector on Instagram, and he only collected pre-release cards as far as I know. This is actually his binder, and he ended up selling me the whole thing. So we have a ton of cards to kind of look through, and some pre-release cards that I can talk about a little more in detail. If you are not really familiar with pre-release cards, here is a good example. This is the Dark Gyarados pre-release. As you can see here, there is a pre-release stamp. It's actually a foil stamp that is stamped over top of the card. They use these as a promotion to basically to promote the new set. So before Team Rocket came out, they had Dark Gyarados pre-release cards given out just kind of like hype it up, I guess. So let's hop right into the binder here. On the first page, we have a bunch of league promos. Now these were actually, all of these are first place, I believe. And these were given out as little prizes when you win tournaments, like local tournaments, that you could basically, so you would have some sort of prize to show that you won a tournament. Along with a little bonus here, we have this Dark Dragonite from Japanese deck here, and a no symbol Clefable, which is actually an error where they forgot the jungle logo there in the corner. And then after this is actually where our pre-releases begin. These were the original pre-release cards. We have Aerodactyl, Dark Gyarados, and Misty Seadra. And here is another one, actually from my personal collection. This is a pre-release Clefable, and that actually came before the Aerodactyl. Out of these four original pre-release cards, the pre-release Clefable is actually the rarest and most expensive version of the original pre-releases. There is actually one more pre-release, and it was pre-release Raichu, but that card is so rare that no normal collector would ever be able to own one. The cool thing about the Clefable is it actually has a green pre-release stamp, whereas Aerodactyl can have either a brown or a gold stamp depending on the region. Dark Gyarados has a gold stamp, and then Misty Seadra, believe it or not, is not actually a pre-release stamp at all. Let me pull that one out. It is not actually a stamp at all. It's actually just printed onto the card itself, which is a little strange because we don't see any other pre-releases that get printed quite like that. So I'm not sure why they ended up doing that with the Seadra. Maybe it was just to save cost, but yeah, kind of a strange aspect on that one. After we get past the first bastion of the pre-releases here, then we get into the next version of the pre-releases. Let me pull this one out and kind of show you in better detail. This pre-release Armaldo from EX Sandstorm actually has a silver pre-release stamp. And as we can see, let me zoom in a little bit here. You can see that it actually has pre-release and a Pokeball right beside the pre-release. They continued this stamp into the next eras, but they did end up changing the coloring of the stamp. So this one is like a silver foil, and the ones in the future are like a gold, almost like rainbow holographic foil. Here's what I'm talking about. See how this has almost like a gold looking pre-release stamp, but when you shine it in the light, it has kind of like a rainbow holographic style to it. And they continued using that pre-release logo for quite some time, actually. This is actually my favorite version of the pre-release logo here, but they keep using it during the EX sets. Here's some Crystal Guardians, I believe. Dragonair is one of my favorites there. Then we're getting into some Diamond and Pearl. They even kept using it all the way through Diamond and Pearl. And we'll flip to the next page here. They still continue to use it here. And then right after this, I believe this is Diamond and Pearl Arceus, or Platinum Arceus maybe. Then they switched it up, right? In Heart Gold Soul Silver, they changed the pre-release. In Heart Gold Soul Silver, they decided to use the actual set logo as kind of a pre-release stamp rather than just the text pre-release and a Pokeball. I'm not 100% sure why they decided to make that choice, but I do like it. I think it looks nice, especially in these eras where the set stamp was holographic like these are. Now remember, this is just a huge collection that I bought. This is not all of the pre-release cards that exist. Maybe one day I'll get all of them, but probably not. Some of them are pretty difficult to find. But here we have Black and White. This one actually used the iconic kind of like sideways slashed holographic here. They continued using that for quite some time. I think Black and White had some really cool logos as well. Like Dark Explorers looked pretty cool, and the Dragon's Exalted is pretty nice looking. And we continue down here with the Plasma Blast. And this one is actually an EX, which is new to this pre-release era. They didn't actually have an EX pre-release before this that I know of. After this, we're starting to break into the X and Y era. Have some more up here from Furious Fist, Phantom Forces. Around this time is where they started doing these half arts. I believe they called them half arts at the time. I thought that was a really cool idea when they first started doing those. And down here we have a couple from Fates Collide. Here we have some Steam Siege, and this is from X and Y Evolutions. The Evolutions pre-release cards are some of the most expensive ones to try and find, so that's pretty much why we only have the Gyarados for now. And then we break into the Sun and Moon era. From here on out, there was four different pre-release artworks from each set. And here we have Sun and Moon Guardians Rising, Burning Shadows, Crimson Invasion. And then we are getting into some Ultra Prism here, Forbidden Light, Celestial Storm, and we're getting up here to the Lost Thunder. We have Unbroken Bonds here. Then we're going to Unified Minds, Cosmic Eclipse, and now we're into the Sword and Shield era. Notice the holographic changes from this like oil slick into this new vertical holographic pattern. And we have some from Rebel Clash here, Darkness Ablaze, Vivid Voltage, and then Battle Styles, everyone's favorite set to hate, Chilling Rain, Evolving Skies, everybody loves that set. Then we have Fusion Strike, it's another good one there, Brilliant Stars, Astral Radiance, Lost Origin, Silver Tempest, Scarlet and Violet base set. We are up to Scarlet and Violet era. And again, you can see the holographic change. This one is from the vertical holo to now it's more of just like a standard holo with a holographic border. And we have Paldea Evolved, Obsidian Flames, Paradox Rift, Temporal Forces, Twilight Masquerade, Stellar Crown, and the last ones that we have in here are Surging Sparks pre-release. But wait, there's more. There is more than just pre-release in here. There's also staff pre-release. Let me show you some of those. Just need to flip one page here, and now we're getting to some of these staff cards that came in this collection. Staff cards are very similar to normal pre-release. The only difference is it has this staff stamp here on the left-hand side. Staff cards are a lot more rare than a normal pre-release because obviously in order to get a staff card, you had to be either a tournament judge, someone that put on a tournament, a card shop owner, something like that to get the staff stamped cards. So here are a few of the staff cards. These are all staffs. There's not quite as many staffs as the normal variety, but like I said, that is because they are a lot harder to find, a little more expensive as well. And here's another one of those half arts there with a staff stamp. That's kind of neat. A couple more here. And I forgot to mention, when they switched eras from this old style pre-release to the new style, the staff stamp pretty much stayed the same. I didn't really notice any difference in the staff stamp itself. Let's keep going here. We got a couple more. Sorry if it's a little difficult to see some of these staffs. I'm trying to get light on these without getting too much of a glare. And just a couple on this page here. A few more here. There's one from Team Up. And on to the next page. A couple Unbroken Bonds here. Unified Minds. Cosmic Eclipse. It was easier to get staff stamps of these newer sets because they came in packs of 4. So basically, if you had one, you could easily have all 4. Then I have to skip ahead a few pages here over to these ones. And we're all the way to Scarlet and Violet and Temporal Forces. I forgot to mention, this is actually where I seen a difference in the staff stamps. Most of the staff stamps up until this time are all embossed. Now this one is actually extruded. A little hard for me to zoom here, but as you can see, this one is actually extruded out instead of in. Which seems like that's what they decided to do with these staff cards from this point onward, because all of these staff stamps are all the same. They all are kind of extruded out rather than in. And with this page, you've actually hit the end of the binder, but I do have a couple more that I actually got from him before I bought the binder, which I have to break out another binder, and give me 1 sec. We'll get looking at that. So this binder was my original kind of staff and pre-release binder. So here are the cards that I purchased from him before I bought the rest of his collection here. First up, we have this Gyarados from EX Dragon. That is a really cool pre-release. Looks like he's kind of like shooting it out of his mouth or something. Here we have a staff pre-release Luxio, a staff pre-release Lucario, pre-release Dark Houndoom. This one is a staff Heart Gold Soul Silver Pichu. And last but not least, a staff pre-release Raichu from, I believe, Arceus Platinum Arceus, that's it. Well, thank you guys for stopping by. This is the end of my pre-release collection. So I actually have more in this binder that we'll look at some other day, but until then, thanks for stopping by. Tune in next time for some more Pokemon content.